So I guess we'll get started. Yeah, so this camp's gonna be super informal, just kind of like last time, because it's really meant as a beginner course or beginner camp of basics of CAD and I guess getting used to Inventor. Um, my audio quality is a lot less good, worse, because I'm on my PC. But we'll kind of jump into it. Before this camp, you should already have Autodesk Inventor installed. But I've also added a link so you can install for free if you're a student with the education plan that they have. That's super generous. And it probably takes like what, under 15 minutes to sign up, and then the download stuff shouldn't take that long afterwards, but it is a big program. Yeah, so Inventor is a tool where we can design parts, assemblies, drawings, and then like little presentations and stuff of 3D parts, I guess. So you know you can make screws, you can make channels, whatever. A lot of people use it, or they used to use it at least for robotics, where you can CAD individual parts, and then build assemblies with different parts that you found online, and kind of make your robot that way. CAD stands for computer aided design, so you have a computer, and it's gonna aid you in design. When you first open up Inventor, you'll get a screen super similar to this, if not the exact same. And we'll just kind of jump straight into it. So we'll hit Part, and it's just going to load here in the bottom. It'll take a little bit. It's doing something, hopefully. Okay, cool. It's like almost done. We're done. Cool. Okay, and so this is basically our workspace, I guess. I don't know any of the formal terms, but I know what we're talking about. This is our workspace. This is kind of the angle at which we see things, and we won't really touch with that now because there's nothing here. And then all of our tools are at the top. So we have 3D modeling tools. So these will help us turn 2D shapes and faces into 3D model, into like more 3D things. We can extrude, which basically means to take a 2D element and basically pull it out, as you can see in this little picture. We have revolve. This is just a few of the tools that allows us to essentially create one side and then we can revolve it around. We can fillet, which basically means like to round edges almost. Chamfer is more of a bevel, I guess. You can thread, you can emboss, rib, coil. These are all our kind of our 3D shapes. You won't be really messing with a lot of this. There's our sketch tools, which will allow us to make our 2D things. You can see that we have sketches on both panels. We have annotate, which allows us to dimension and add notes. Inspect, which allows for measuring and tolerance and other things. We have some tools, so we can change the materials and appearance. We might mess with that today. We got some other things in manage. We won't really touch that. View, we'll mess with this a little bit today. You can send it to other programs. You can 3D print or send a Fusion, which is another program. And then there's just their basic get started, which is already on their homepage. If we click File, you'll get a bunch of awesome options to make new, open. You can save it, save as. You can export it into a different file. A lot of what I do is I'll just design something really quickly in Autodesk Inventor, then export it to a different file, and then I'll print it out on my 3D printer. Yeah, I'm more of a hobbyist, so I'm not like using it to build robots or model planes and cars. I'm like making like Raspberry Pi mounting plates and brackets and fixing things around my house. But yeah, on the side we kind of have like a file system. Not really a file system, but more of just a list that helps us understand and organize our views and our structures and all of our parts and our sketches. And it's just really helpful as an organizer. You can do a lot of other things, but we'll just kind of keep it like this. Right here, you can kind of see our X, Y, and I assume the blue is going to be Z, most likely is. Because we're in the 3D environment, we have an X, Y, and Z, I guess, axes, and it allows us to place it in 3D space. We've got a few other tools right here, but yeah, and then you can like right click, and you'll have a few different options for quick stuff. But yeah, we can get started. We're just going to hit the Start Sketch button here at the top. You just click that, and now it offers us this weird little grid thing. And so right here we have the XZ plane, we have the XY plane, I'm just hovering, and the YZ plane. It's like really, really brief right there. And you can kind of see already that these two things have already shifted because now we're at an essentially a different angle. And we can see all of our dimensions. So we have X and Z. I'm sorry, X and Y. So Y is going to be our vertical in this case. Um, Z is going to be, I guess, this way. Or no, this is an X, and then this is Z. Um, in some programs, you'll have your vertical being your z-axis because it's the third dimension. But I guess in Inventor, we're going to be using z as our secondary 2D axis. So this is kind of like flat. This is up and down. So hover over this XZ plane and then click on it, and you'll see that we'll get this new little thing. And we have a top, and you see we have Z and X. And so now operating on this, and you can also see that your tab is changed. Okay, so what we're gonna do is actually gonna start like building really simple shapes, and then we're gonna kind of talk about all the different things, and then we'll kind of go up in intensity. My goal is to be done with this in 45 minutes, because I've been trying to cut down camps to be faster and less of filler and more of just pure content. Also, because if you watch it after the fact. But yeah, we have all of our tools. So what we're gonna do is let's just click on this rectangle tool, and you can see now we have X and Y in this context. I know we're in the z-axis, but it's considering it as if we weren't. So we go up, we go x increases, we go to this side, y decreases, x. So they're both positive, they're both negative. One's positive, negative. It's like a really weird grid almost. If you know, like in math, you have your 4 quadrants, kind of like that, except it's really weird. And we don't actually have to worry about that. So we already clicked on here, so this rectangle tool is selected. And you can see when I'm kind of hovering over this origin point, your cursor snaps and it's green. So we can click on this, and now we have this box. And you can see that we have two values now. We have this horizontal value at the top, so like right now it's like what, like an inch right here, and then we have this vertical right here. So you could you can move like this by just clicking on the scroll wheel. And then by the way, you can also zoom in and zoom out by scrolling on the scroll. And then with this vertical axis, which is also around 1 inch right now, I'm just gonna move around, do that. So yeah, but let's make a little cube. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can eyeball it, so like move your hand so you can get to the 1 inch. And it's like you can do it, it's just not recommended. What I do is you can actually just type in the values. So you can see that uh, the the value on the right, this like the vertical, you can see that it's kind of highlighted in this dark blue, and so we can actually hit the delete key, or not the delete key, sorry. You can just actually start typing. So we'll write 1 inch, or you can just type in 1, and you can see now that it's locked, and so I can't actually change my height any further. It's locked when I hit 1, and I can do the same 1 and then press enter, and you can now see that we have a box. I'll kind of redo that in case it was kind of too fast, but rectangle tool, you can go to their origin. You can literally just type in 1, enter, or oh my god, you can type in 1, and then you can tab to go to the other one, not enter, and then press 1 again, and then enter. So you have this little cube. And so we just did that. So now we can hit finish sketch. We have this square right here. And you can see now we're at our ZX axis. You can see that this is our sketch. If I highlight it, it turns green. And now we're going to just click on the extrude tool. And you can see it already picks it up, what it is. And it already wants to extrude it out 1 inch. So you can actually just pull this up and down. And you can choose where you want it to go. I'm going to leave it at 1 inch. You can also mess with it right here, so you can just turn it. You can make it like 5 inches. You can make it 2 inches. What's really cool about Inventors, you can use different types of measurements. So say 2 centimeters, 1 inch. You can make it 1 millimeter, but we'll just stick with 1 inch, and you can just type in 1. And then you can hit OK. So now we have this cube, and we can actually just rotate around it. You can see you can either click on this, and you can see you can grab all the different angles, or you can just drag it and you can pivot around. But you can also click the reset. So you have this. So that's your cube. It's your first 3D model you've made. And, you know, you can print this. I don't see why you would, but say you needed a bunch of cubes, you can just print a lot of these. And so here's where Inventor really gets cool, is that we can do sketches on extrusions. So what we're going to do is I want to get circles. I want to cut a full, maybe a few circles out of this. So I'm going to click on the Start Sketch again, but you can see that this time around, we didn't get the option of choosing our plane. No XZ, no XY, no YZ axis. Because they want us, since this is a part, we can now just start editing on top of this. So I'm going to just go to the top, right here. Okay, and now I want to cut a circle out on every face. So I only need to do this 3 times because it'll go all the way through. So I can do the circle. But you can see right here that I don't actually know where the center of my object is. So I can escape. And we can use the line tool to figure that out. So I can click the line tool. And you can see when I get to the midpoint, it snaps. So 0.5. I can click there. I then can just, and then my line has been created. You can see there's a line. I can then go up. And I already know it's going to be 0.5, so I can just type in 0.5 and hit enter. And you can see with the line tool, it'll ask you to, hey, do you want to continue line? And we don't really need to. We can hit escape. Then you can click on the circle tool. We now have an origin, and you can see how far we want to go out. So this is an inch, and that won't be as helpful. So let's go 0.75. That's good. Cool. And then what we can do is just to make it easier, we can hit the trim tool and just, oh, not the trim tool. There's no erase tool? I thought there was. And you just trim off all this fat. I just trimmed the outside. This is fine. You don't really need to trim it, so I won't. And we can hit finish sketch. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do this for the other 2 sides as well. So I'll do it for this side. I'll add a line. I'll start right here. I already know kind of where it is. So, but I'll try something. I'll show you something new. So when we make a line, we have a inches and we have a degrees, which is this other thing on the right here. And so I can type in 0.5 tab, and then I can type 0. Or not 0. Oh my god. I am struggling. Okay, 0.5, 0. And you can see that now we have made a line at 0 degrees. This is just showing 0. That's circled. That's not just a dimension line. And then right here, right, say I'm off the wrong angle, I can do 0.5. And then they can do 90 and goes right there. And then 0.75. Cool, finish sketch. And you can see I've made 2 sketches already on here. And I'll make my 3rd sketch. So, you also snap to your 0 degrees if you're near it. And your 90 if you're near it. So, there. No, I hate how finicky this is, God. You can always do Control-Z. That's what I find myself doing a lot. There we go. Add our circle. 0.75, enter. Cool, and then finish our sketch. So we have these three circles now, and we want to remove it. So we can use the Extrude tool, select our circles by clicking on them. So this is one circle. And then I'm going to go I'm actually going to go the other way around, and you can see that it turned red. It turned red right there. That's because we were removing, and you can see that it automatically knows that since we're extruding into a part that's already been extruded, we want to remove it. See, if we go upwards, it's green, it means we want to add. But if we go down, it's red. So we can just make this go an inch, or you can just go more. It doesn't matter. We can get the same result because we're still going to be cutting out this cylinder almost out of here. So I'll hit OK. And you see when I finish the extrusion, the whole sketch disappears. I can do the same thing for this. There are a gazillion ways to do this shape. I'll just drag it out. I'll hit OK. And then the top part, I'll just, extrude. There we go. And then, okay, just drag that in. Yep, cool, done. Okay. And so now you have this really cool shape that we've made. Inside of it looks really, really cool. And so I'll just re-angle it based on my axes. Right there, I think, is where I started. I'll do this so that's easier. I'm trying to reorient it so it's right face up. There we go. Okay. So we have this shape that we've just made. So let's kind of make it a little bit more fancier, and we can kind of talk about some of the tools that I mentioned. So you can use the Fillet tool, and you can just essentially click on all the edges that you have, and you can kind of see that it shows you this blue preview of what's expected to happen when we do this. You can see I get the whole shape, and I can kind of mess with how much I really want this. So maybe I want this, or 5, or if I do like 1, you can see that it just won't let me, I think, because you can't fillet over how much. This is like, yeah, you can't do that, but you can do 0.2, 0.15, because you want to make sure that everything, but we want to make sure that it looks clean. And you see how it's like interfering this line with the circle? Maybe this. That's like exactly on the line, so maybe that, or let's do this. I think that would look pretty good. For 12 edges, because that's how many we got. And now you can see we have it kind of rounded. And you can even go inside and fillet it. See how you can grab these edges? You can just really go in and do some really wonky things with this. Did I get all of them? Maybe I did. Who knows? I got 10 edges. I think that's good enough. And we can actually go like, let's see how far we can go. Yeah, let's try that. And so now you have this really weird inner shape. But I don't actually really like this outside extrusion. So you can see we have our fillet. We have this fillet. I can just click on that again. And you can see it brings this panel back up. And I actually just want to bring it to 0.1. And now I can hit OK, and I can modify it. Same with this inner one. I'll make them both 0.1. Hit OK. So there's our weird little shape that we've made. You could print this. It'd be whack to print, but you know, you can get away with it. And so yeah, I mean, you've made your first little weird shape. We can actually, I think we can do this. We can just start rendering this out. So we can actually apply a material to it. So maybe I want it to look different, like this satin. That looks fancy, I think. You can really just go to the top and change it. You can also just change what you want it. So maybe I want this to be out of gold. You can do gunmetal. You can choose a lot of different things, and it does this like indoor pool is always a fun one. No, I like that blue, the blue satin. I think it was called blue satin. Wherever it went. That's copper. Maybe it was back in the generic list. Yeah, flake satin blue. Here we go. So we have this. And we can click on views and we can kind of change it, our visual style. So maybe I want it to look realistic so it won't get any of my lines. You can have shaded, so it has some shadows. You can see the edges that we've drawn. You can see all the inner ones. Wireframes, hidden edged wireframes, visible edges, only a monochrome one, watercolor, so it kind of looks like someone drew it, I guess. Sketch, there's a lot of weird ones. A technical one, realistic, I'll go back to it. You can make it perspective, or see, like this one's like more of a perspective of it. Orthographic, we can make it perspective with ortho faces. We can add a ground plane for it just to see where it takes up, and you can kind of see that it reflection a little bit changes. We can turn off textures or keep them on. We can add a reflection, so you can kind of see there's a little bit of a light reflection here at the bottom. We can add all shadows, so a little bit more, kind of looks interesting. And you can ray trace it too, so I'll actually just do this. I'm not sure if this is going to ruin my my streaming quality. I hope not. but you can kind of see me render this out really quickly. I might not waste all my time doing this, but I think it's fun and it's kind of cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, like you can kind of see it looks pretty good, I think, all things considered. But yeah, this is a high quality render. You can do a drafting render, which is faster, or just a low qual render, which you can kind of see has a lot more problems. You can see a lot of the shadows that are happening because of how light refracts inside of the shape. You can kind of see that it looks really weird. We can actually change the material perhaps to a gold, and this just will just like that looks rough. I think that's because it's the color gold, not actually gold. Yeah, see here's the gold metal. That looks really fascinating and cool. But yeah, you can see it really reflecting inside of itself. So I'm going to turn off ray tracing. I'll turn off this. I'll turn off my shadows. We'll go back to, I think this is our original style, hopefully. Probably this one. I totally forgot. It probably is this one. And I'll go back to generic just so I can actually see what it said. Or default, I think is what it's called. Just going to apply that right. Yeah, let me change our views back. There we go. So this is kind of what we started off with. So yeah, that was your first shape, or your first part, basically. Okay, so I can actually just save this to my desktop. I'll say that as part 1. And I'll kind of show you what we can do called assemblies. So you can actually do File, New, New Assembly, and we'll just create the assembly for now. We'll be creating another part. So we can just leave that there. And let's also create a new part. So new standard.ipt, and we're back to where we started. So I'm going to do start new sketch, and we'll do this XZ plane. Cool. And what we're going to do is add a little cap, I guess, inside. So we'll add a little circle. We'll add 0.75 so it fits perfectly inside. And then we'll finish. We'll extrude it out 1 inch because that's how tall our cube is. Then I'm going to do a sketch on top. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a circle that's 1. I can do math, I think. 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 0.75. I know the answer, but I'm going to do it anyways. And we can do this, so 1.25. Actually, no, I don't want 1.25. I want the average of this. You can do it 1 plus 0.75 divided by 2. And we get this little shape here. You can see it's a little bit larger. And then I'm going to extrude this one out. And you can see what's really interesting is you do it, it'll ask you if you want to do the whole thing, but you can just pull that. And then I'll do a height like that. And I'll chamfer it. So we can do that. And that's too big of a chamfer. So we'll 0.05. That looks cool. Can we fillet this edge? And you can. So I'll also do like a really low fillet. Can I do like 0.75? Looks good. Yeah, there's a little bit of a fillet. You can kind of like get like a cool kind of button feel to this. There's a lot of different things. You can do a hole. Let's do a hole. I'm just trying to play around with this hole. You can do a hole on top. You can see it finds our origin. Cool. Let's do a hole. Let's make the diameter of that hole 0.5. I think different types of holes as well. But I think I'm just going to do the 0.5 hole. Now let's do a 2.5 hole, I think. That might just look nicer. Okay. And you can see we went all the way through, as evident by that little thing. What I'll also do is I'll actually kind of see. Can I sketch? No, I can't do that. That's okay. Let's see if we can revolve anything here. No, is it not going to want revolve? Cancel. Yeah, okay, I guess we can't revolve anything here. But that's okay. That is a-okay. So we have this little part. I'm just going to save it as part 2. And now let's go back to our assembly. So we can click place. Go to my desktop. We can grab this part. There's our part. You can see it's right there. We can place as many as we want. I'll place another one right there. Hit escape. I'll place another part, and I'll place this thing. And I'll place a few of those right here. And so now at the top, what I can do is I can just constrain this. So I can grab this. Can I put it there? Let's see. Yeah, you can see that. It kind of like just places it inside. You can kind of mess with it. Cancel. Can I do a joint, or not a joint, a constraint? You can do constraints. So in assemblies, you can actually just put things together. So you can do that. Bottom. See, there we go. It made a weird noise, but using constraints, we can fit things inside of other things. So you can now see that we've put that little piece that we made inside and it fits perfectly. We can do it again, so I can hit not joint, constrain, and then we can go to the bottom view. So you can grab this right here. Not even that. That's the wrong thing. Constraints are really, really finicky, so I'll grab that. And then what I'll do is instead of placing it like there, I'm going to place it right there. And you can kind of see it gets really, really wonky. Oh no, I like that one. When I'm trying to do these constraints, but then you can always just free rotate. So I can click U, I can do, I'll go to the side so I can rotate it. Okay, so we can do free rotate. And I'll rotate it like that. Cool. And I'll go to the other side. And then I'll do a free move of this. And I'll just kind of place it right there. And then I'll do a free move again. Just kind of stuffing it through. It's not as clean, obviously. But it's always an option you can do. I'm not going to recommend it. But yeah, that's an assembly. We were able to make 2 different parts, put it together, and yeah, I mean it was cool to do. Okay, now we're gonna do something a little bit more interesting. Let me see if we can do a revolve. I think I'm just gonna come up with this on the spot. So let's create a circle. We'll sketch on our XZ plane. I'll make it a 1-inch circle. Then I'll add a rectangle. I guess I'll add a line. Actually, we'll go. Actually, we'll go halfway because this is radius. That's the diameter, I guess, of the circle is 1 inch. So we'll go right here. And then what I'll do is I'll add a 2-point center right here. So I'll make it 0.01, 0.25. And we have this. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to extrude this up like really, really low. Like that. And you can see that the sketch we have kind of, or that got messed up, sorry. There's a hole, so I can just extrude this whole thing up by that much. And you can see that whatever other sketch we made disappeared. What I like to do is I'll go back into here, I'll open up my extrusion, you'll see the sketch, I'll right click and hit visibility. Then I can just always find this item. I won't do that, I'll go up. That, I'll go upwards. And then can I revolve this? That's my question. Probably not. Let me select this and then revolve. Can I revolve anything here? No? That's okay. I have out of ideas on what to design right now. Select an axis. I don't have one. Oh well, that's okay. No, it's delete and I'll start anew. Hmm. Yeah, a lot of this is just trying to figure out how do I come up with different ideas. XY plane. Okay, what if I did this? So, we can actually just play with our shapes. We'll do that. So we have our rectangle, right? Obviously. But we also have a lot of other tools on our side. We have circles, we got lines, we got splines. And then we have like these arcs, and arcs are really, really cool. So we can arc. I'll go 1 inch at 45 degrees. Hit enter. And then I can start curving this in the direction I want. I'll curve it 0.25. Or not even 0.5. Sorry. Yeah, why can't I curve 2.5? No? Okay, yeah, because that's massive. I guess we'll just do 0.5 then. You can do that. And then I'll do another, and then I'll actually, yeah, actually I think I might be able to revolve with this. Then I'll go like that, yeah, actually click there. I'll go there, and then I'll also go 135, 0.075. So you have those two, and then I can just create an arc from point A to point B. You can kind of see there. So I have this. I'm going to extrude that. And now I'm going to see if I can try and revolve this. Can I revolve it? No. Let's see. I'm going to do this. I don't know why I'm obsessed with revolving things today, to be honest with you. Select axes. Oh, there we go. Huzzah. So, okay. We can revolve things. It's just going to be really, really weird. Yeah. So that's a revolve that we just did. Gets this really, really weird shape. So yeah, that's a revolve. Basically, you gotta have an axis and a shape. So I made it a little square, and it just kind of revolves in on itself. Yeah. We can play with a few other tools here, I guess. Actually, no, not loft. You can't sweep with this. Can I rib? No. A visible unadaptive sketch. Well, I can add a visible sketch. Now we can rib. Haha. Is it gonna do anything? No? Yeah, obviously that's not gonna work. Well, okay. A lot of this is just experimentation. I think that's honestly the best way you kind of learn how to do this is just by trying to make different things. Like a few months ago, I made like a Game Boy or whatever on here for my Raspberry Pi, and that was fun to do. Oh, we can do mirroring actually. Okay, that'll be actually kind of cool. Yeah. So I'll add a circle. We'll make it 1 inch. Cool. I'll add a center point rectangle on this edge right here of 0.1, 0.1. And then what I'll do is I'll do a circular. I'll select the geometry that I want to circle. Then I'll select my axis. And you can see really faintly that it's just duplicating this all the way through. I'll do it 8 times instead. Hit OK. And you can see that we've just now made 8 of those. And so that's really, really cool. I can do another circle on the inside. We'll do 0.5. And then I'll try something else. You can fillet with your sketch tool. If you want to do like a 2D rounded edge, like I'll show you. Like, can I do that here? No? Guess not, it's gonna let me do it here. But you can do it. It's just really, really weird when you do it. Well, it's not weird just rounding the edge and then you extrude from it. Instead of, rounding a edge that has 3 facing points. Yeah, so I can add a rectangle right here. I'll do 0.05, 0.05, and then I'll do a rectangular. So I'll copy all these. Yeah, and you can kind of see that it added another one down there. No one really uses rectangle as far as I'm concerned. It's whack, but a lot of people do use this, the circular and mirror tool. So with like mirror tool, what we can do is I can like say extend. I'll actually swap this rectangle. I can say extend this to the middle, right? I can add my axes, so I'll just draw like a line right here. It doesn't really matter. And then for the mirror tool, I select which edges I want to keep. I can choose a mirror line. Can I choose my mirror line? Hit apply, and then it does it. I can also do a rotate, and I'll click copy for the rotate. So I can grab all these edges, center point, put it right there, and now I can kind of drag it out. So right here, and then I have to copy because otherwise what it's going to do is it will just delete your old one, and that's no good. I'll choose my center again, and then I'll choose this. You can see it's snapped there. Done. Can I even fillet? No? Is it going to let me fillet anywhere? Okay, wait, you can fillet here, I guess. What I actually want to do is I'm going to trim. We can actually use the trim tool now, because I think there's too much going on. So here, here, here. Trimming just literally allows you to erase stuff. Because like I want a clean box inside here. So now there's a clean box here. I can even arc from here to here. Do a weird little arc. You'd also do that to get rounded corners in your designs. Yeah, that's way too big though. Now we can just extrude whatever it is out of this. So say I want to make, we can actually, since they're all in the same sketch, we can now choose what to extrude at the same time. So, and I want to do, say, these. No, I hate this because you cannot like undo what you want to do. So I can grab these. Maybe in the future we'll do an actual project with Inventor and I'll have this camp as a requisite because I think you have to understand at least a few of the basics to begin. So yeah, we'll do like right here and then it disappears. I'll turn back my visibility and I'll kind of do some other things. So I'll extrude maybe these smaller ones. And I always recommend just keep changing your perspective when you're designing because then you can always just see. Cool. Okay, and then what I'll do is instead of this, I'll do 0.125 or even lower, 7.5. I'll go low right here. And you can see my sketch still stays because I didn't really need to remove it. I'll extrude we'll extrude this, 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 and this. Forgot why those two don't have it, but that doesn't really matter. Maybe I forgot to do it. Who knows? Make it even lower. And honestly, I mean, while we're at it, I'll just add those. For some reason, I guess they didn't copy over. Just for symmetrical. And you see I can just jump back into here, choose my center point. Yes, I'll remove that. Copy. Cool. Okay, now I can extrude. Kind of see what I'm going for, maybe. Extrude. I can now just extrude all these individual sub pieces. And let's go 2, 5. Okay, so we have that. I'm then going to go inside here and kind of deal with this mess. And I'll actually raise this 0.075. Oh, I forgot one. That's okay, it saves your previous there. Then we're left with kind of this whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this middle box up, and I think that'll be kind of call it a day with the whole extruding thing. Because what I'm going to show is also there we go. Okay, so we have this shape. I'm going to hide my sketch. There, you have this really, really wacky shape. We can even go on the bottom, actually. Visibility. And kind of do some stuff here. Perhaps? Will you let me do it? Yes, you will. You can see its first thought is like, oh yeah, let me, delete all of the stuff. There, now it has more of like a filling on the bottom. And so I have this we have this really weird shape. And now I'm actually just gonna go to town with it on. Can I even revolve this if I wanted to? No. Certain parts it's letting me do it. Couldn't revolve. Oh, could I revolve that? Select an axis. Oh, it's letting me revolve something. That's okay. I don't really want to. We can now fillet like every edge. I messed up there. That's okay though. We got like 16 edges of revolve, of fillet. Then what I want to do is maybe I'll fillet this edge, that edge. Kind of make it feel like a slope. I'm honestly just randomly doing fillets now to make this look fancy. No, come on. Oh my god. I hate this. I have to go back through. See, CAD takes a lot of patience I normally do not have for this, because 2D design is much faster and you get results and you can iterate a lot faster, and Inventor is kind of wacky as a program. Not to say that like once you kind of get into it, it becomes much easier to work with. Okay. Get all that. Hit OK. But then let's lay, I guess, these edges. And you can see it turns red when there's a when you can or you're over filleting. Let me do it. Oh, okay, so mainly the only thing that I wasn't able to fillet is this middle part. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care enough. There we go. So we have this weird shape. And now what I can do is actually I can find all these extrusions. So like say these ones, for example, and I can actually apply like a custom material. So like that blue. Maybe I'll add a foil gold so you can see that's being applied there. The blue. Actually, I'll make that gold as well. These parts we can do in the blue. This part we can do like gunmetal. This part also in gunmetal. This middle part maybe we can do like in bronze or copper. That looks good. We can do like the bottom in like this red hot color. We can do this. Do a green, I guess maybe. Like a green metal? No. We'll do indoor pool for the bottom, I guess. If I can, you can't even really see it. You can. Oh. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's fine. For these, I'll do it in like just random colors at this point. These gold metal, and then for the fillets, we can do it in. Do they have like a platinum? Yeah, silver. Cool, silver. Titanium. And then this last one, I guess right here, we could do an indoor pool. Cool. So we have this like really wacky part with all these different random designs across it. And now let's see what it actually looks like. So I can go into environments, or no, view. Turn on reflections. Go to realistic. And then turn on ray tracing and really see what happens before my computer tries to blow itself up. Okay, that's like something. High. See how that looks. Really gonna put my computer running through everything. Yeah, that looks so confusing. And you can see like when I move my mouse around, it has to reset. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that off. That's crazy. Okay, it's off. But yeah, I mean, we can save this as a part 3. We can add it again to our assembly. Like, this came out really cool. We can actually also change the materials of that. So say I want my blue, then I want that to be, you know, a gold metal, and I want that maybe to be indoor pool, and this to be is like a plastic maybe, cool white. We could do that, and I can actually render. I can actually see what this looks like too, because um, indoor pool sounds a lot cooler than it ends up looking. But that gold and the satin came out really nice, especially. Yeah, it finishes up pretty quickly too. This is gonna look a lot nicer. I do not recommend doing any type of ray tracing or rendering if you don't have a good hardware on your computer that can actually do it. Like even mine is struggling, and mine's not all too bad. Um, yeah, but it's not too bad. You can definitely leave it on overnight, but you can see like the second you move around, it's just gonna get so confused. Um, but yeah, I mean, once again, we can just kind of click here, save. I guess I'll save it. Assemble, place. We can find that part number 3, and it'll kind of just drop in. You can add as many instances of it as you want. Um, yeah, a lot of things. But yeah, I think we're gonna end the camp right here. This camp was totally meant to be a completely informal type of thing. We're just kind of getting into Inventor and get playing around with stuff. We might do another camp maybe next month or the month after where we do like a Game Boy or an iPhone or something different where we're actually trying to make something using specifications and interior design and all that type of stuff. Maybe use joints as well. But yeah, let us know what you guys want to do. It's our last camp of March, I think. So April, gotta figure that curriculum out. But yeah, thanks for joining. If you have any questions, let us know. I might post this stuff onto GitHub so you can always download it and check it out. But yeah, have a good day.